Hi there, I'm Tracy Johnson and I'm here with Will at Birch & Boar in Prince George. I'm super excited. We have got some really cool cheeses to try today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. We carry a lot of different cheeses at Birch & Boar. I try and just import whatever I can get from around the world if I can't get the best in BC. I always start with BC first.
Yeah.
A lot of these cheeses we're not going to find in BC though, like a nice crottin, a Lindenhof French Gouda. We have Mimolette, and then this is from America, but it's an Amani tricolor cheese. So I think it's really tasty, but it's one of those weird cheeses where I think they've taken a lot of like leftover curd from other cheeses and then pressed it together. They make all these colors into separate cheeses, so it's a nice way to reuse recycled curds.
Absolutely.
Right? What do you want to start with?
Flavor-wise, you said this was 10 years old?
This one for us is 10 years old. We got it when it was 8 years old, the Lindenhof.
Okay,
it's the
so
oldest
that's
cheese we
probably
carry.
going to be the most flavorful.
Yeah, it's got the all those like
So
the
we'll
crystals
work
in
up
there.
to that one.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to the crystals. Everybody that knows me knows I love the tyrosine crystals in a cheese.
Yeah, I always forget the name of them. I always call them just salt crystals. I know it's not salt crystals. So I'd say that'd probably be the order then of like continuing
Perfect.
on.
Yeah. How about
Oh,
it?
and we have these nice tools. What was the thing you said about the different
I
textures?
call this the wibbly wobbly
The wibbly wobbly.
because I'm a Doctor Who fan. But yeah, when you cut cheese in a straight line, you get a different mouthfeel than when you cut cheese they'll grate it or into a block or slice it into like thin batons. I've been upping my board game,
Yeah.
and it just my wibbly wobbly knife in the drawer just sort of screamed at me one time, Cambozola! and yeah, I did a board with that, and just everybody went absolutely mad. It's like, how did you do that? Well, come on, I've got a tool for that.
The wibbly wobbly.
The wibbly wobbly.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
I normally like my cheese to be like room temperature for an hour or so before I have them, so they
Yeah.
open up a bit more flavor wise. But
I don't smell avocado.
so they have a spicy Fresno.
Very spicy in there,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Then there's the avocado, and there's your classic Gouda. And to me, it's a fun cheese on the board. That's not one I'm gonna grab for a nice cracker and cheese kind of sit down session, but on a board amongst a lot of things, it's kind of a talking piece.
Yeah, for sure. And the green is just ridiculously difficult to get as a cheesemaker because it turns blue as you age the cheese. So using avocado, I'm going to have to investigate how they've done that.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, but it's got a nice bit of spice to
The
it.
finish though is very creamy. I was thinking like the Gouda section of it is lost under that spice layer, but actually in the end there is a creamy finish to
It
it.
evens out, it's got a nice mouthfeel. It has a very young Gouda mouthfeel, which I enjoy Gouda. Yeah, I haven't had that one in a while, but definitely has that spicy kick. I forgot how spicy it was.
I would be remiss if I didn't translate for our Dutch viewers, howder.
Yeah, thank you.
Nobody
Thank you.
here understands the word. If you say, I've made a honey howder, they're like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, we actually have one of my employees is well versed. He's from Europe and says howda, and then just customers just don't understand.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
So he calls it good howda, and then everyone's like, oh, Gouda. And so it's a beautiful cheese. It's a French aged goat cheese. I actually don't know the process for making it, but I know like you actually sell I think some small molds that look similar to this one.
I do.
For a very different cheese, but
Yeah. All of the molds that I sell, you can use for any cheese you like. It's your kitchen.
that's right.
So people often say to me, oh, that Manchego mold is gorgeous. Can I use it for? And I'm like, you do you. I put all sorts of things in my Manchego molds because it's pretty and I like it. So I recently found out that how do we pronounce this? Because I would say crottin.
I would say crottin.
Okay.
I would, but I'm also not French, and when I lived over there, I would just say things really fast to fit in the kitchens I worked at. So I seem to get by okay.
Go in hard with confidence.
That's it. With confidence and just speed, people are like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. But
Yeah.
no,
So crottin, they only use Geotrichum candidum. They don't put pencan in there.
Oh, okay.
So I've just found this out because I'm experimenting. I've got a brie recipe, I've got a camembert recipe, I've got a stabilized paste recipe of both of those things. But I haven't really branched out into the, Valençay, crottin, any of the weird shapes. I've got all the molds for them. I just haven't really sort of played with it too much. because I have a cloth-bound cheddar in my cave right now, so I don't want to introduce any foreign molds.
Yeah, that's my next one is to try. I want to get a proper cellar because obviously right now I'm just doing everything in the vac seal bags in my nicely aged cold room.
Yeah.
Because it's full of meat. So we age a lot of our own meat here. The bags keep it safe from each other, but you can't do cloth bound. You can't do things like that.
Awesome.
All right, so this is my favorite with honey. I love this cheese just on a board, a little bit of honey, and I just find it kind of opens it up really nice.
I'm just drying my goats up and this makes me wistful.
So like it's got almost like a tanniny type thing in the end. So a lot of people love this one with like sweet wines. I like with just like fresh fruit and honey.
I could see that with a grapefruit. A pink grapefruit, I could see that just like
heart.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking one of those home with me.
Right? Yeah, and we're the only place that I know of that imports this one currently.
No.
In Prince George, where we're from. Yeah, I'm sure other places in Vancouver will carry some of this in like nice.
Oh yeah, I mean Vancouver, there's a cheese shop on every corner,
right.
But
so.
Here it's like we have a couple of good delis in town.
Yeah.
This is one of them, and finding someone that's knowledgeable about the cheese and what they want to bring in and why.
Yeah, I try and bring in like a collection of different things that I think that are, but also a lot of cheeses in Europe are seasonal too. Like a lot of cheeses are like, we get this Lancashire bomb cheese. Or maybe I'm saying Lancashire wrong, but it's this beautiful cheese and it's large. It looks like a giant bomb. That's why they call it that. But it's literally they make it once a year and then we buy it up for Christmas. And it's just great cheese. It's like a cloth-bound cheddar. Then they wrap it in huge wax and you hang it from your Christmas tree. And it's great. You just age it on your tree.
My cat would absolutely love that.
Oh yeah. It would not last in my house.
Yeah, I really enjoy listening to Canadians say any of the awkward place names in the UK, like Lancashire, Cheshire. Yeah, we're on safe ground with cheddar because it's difficult to mispronounce that. Okay, so this is
possible.
Well, yeah, everything's possible. So this is mimolette. Tell me the story around mimolette.
So I don't know all the real history of mimolette. I just know that the story I heard from a French chef I worked with is that mimolette was designed to be impenetrable. It was they call it the safe of cheese. So ship captains put this cheese on their boat, and the rest of the crew had other cheaper, weaker cheese like Goudas, Goudas, however you want to say it. And he was the cheese setup that only he could cut with this sharp sword, and because it's literally shaped like a cannonball. Which this is all just like the legend of the cheese. So these French captains would have this one cheese that they could cut into in their ship in their quarters, and it is involved. There's insects involved in the aging process that kind of run all over it. In Canada, you're not allowed to have that imported over, so it all has to be like specially cleaned in France before they send it over to us, and then it's waxed.
So
it doesn't read.
No air.
There are no insects on the cheese when you buy it, but it's part of the aging process. You can almost kind of like see kind of what they do on the outside.
Yeah, some of the time you can even see the little tracks that they've made into the cheese.
Yeah. And
penetrated just slightly into the rind of the cheese. And the first time I tried this, the cheesemonger was like, it's okay, you don't have to eat the rind, but trying to cut the cheese, and she was wrestling with this bowl. And I think you were saying earlier that it's not something you would encourage your other staff to do. This is I'm going to do this. So if anybody
currently it's
loses
just
a finger,
me. You treat it like it's almost like the smallest Parmesan wheel ever. And I've ever seen like someone crack a Parmesan wheel, but that's an art form in itself, and I love doing it. But when you're doing it, it is not as dangerous with the Parmesan because it's such a flat surface. Like it does have a little rocking to it, but this is a straight round ball.
Yeah.
And I find that when you're trying to go in with a knife, it's going to roll on you. You're going to cut yourself. You're going to slide off the knife. And it's considered the most dangerous cheese, not because of the insects. So like other cheeses who have insects can be a problem, like the ones from Sardinia that are considered dangerous.
Dude, don't get me on the Kazumari.
I've eaten it. I was with the Sardinia.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't like it, but
I'm gonna hard no on that one.
Yeah, it's talking about seeing insects crawling through the cheese actually it wasn't good for me.
No, thank you.
But this cheese is considered dangerous because people cut themselves on it, just trying to get into it.
This might well be why there are so many amputees on pirate ships.
Right? Yeah. You're missing a finger. Someone tried to steal the cheese from the captain.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of my favorite cheeses. I could just eat it as it is. It's dried up to the point where
it's like candy,
snaps.
isn't it? A friend of mine, Rachel, told me that you've got to try mimolette, and I've never tried it before. And I tried it, and I'm like, I mean, my favorite at the time is like a 12-month-old cave aged Gruyere with the tyrosine crystals in it, and it's just really, really well done. And then I came along and tried Mimolette, and I'm like, actually, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I mean, you can aspire to this for sure.
Yeah.
I like the way it just snaps.
Yeah, because it's just like you've candied cheese. It reminds me of like when you take like the thing of like, you know, if regular Gouda is like really nice gravlax, and then you take really nice candied salmon, and that's just that amount of like processing and aging and.
And it just smells of cheese, like not overpoweringly, but just of cheese.
Yeah, it's so inoffensive and complex at the same time, which is hard to do when you're just inoffensive cheeses to me are ones that don't have that intense mouthfeel. Like I love these first two cheeses a lot, but they both coat your tongue, and that's all you're going to taste for a little bit. That's what they pair really well. This one is something you just can have on its own, and it's got a lot of complexity to it as you eat it, but it's definitely still just super cheese.
Yeah. I did not know you carried that.
I carry a lot of cheeses that we only bring in once in a while, because I bring in right from the source. We don't go to a cheese supplier in Vancouver because it would never be affordable here. Shipping to Prince George is so expensive.
So shipping from Prince George.
Yeah, it's actually cheaper for me to ship stuff from Europe, land it in Vancouver with the buyer, and then ship it up to us in large pallets at a time. So like I'm gonna bring in a few wheels of Bruges, which is this red German cheese made with beer. And it's this red cheese because the beer is colored red. It's great. I bring in these like grape must aged like Goudas. Fantastic. But like I bring them all in just one giant wave, and then when they're sell, I bring in different cheeses. So we go through a huge wave. So there's always something new in our store for cheese. And the ones that are regular are the BC cheeses because they're a call away.
Yeah.
And this is our most aged cheese. Like I said, we got this one when it was 8 years old. It's a Lindenhof. That's whatever the name is. I'm going to say it wrong. It's the Lindenhof Fermier. So you can get it in 2 years. They don't sell less than 2 years apparently. 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, and then 10. We bought it at 8 and we aged it ourselves.
Look at those crystals.
But it's the oldest cheese we sell. I have a bit left. I probably enough to right through Christmas because I brought the wheel 2 years ago. But it's a large wheel, but half the size of this table. Like they don't make small, and they don't cut it for you. Like no, you buy the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we bought the whole thing. We imported it in. Do it like that. We get a bit of everything. And this cheese, I just like this one with like, for me, like a really nice like apple, especially crab apple if you got it, which is one of my favorite things in my yard right now. It just fruit, like you can like
Yeah.
So if you like those aged Gruyères, everything like that.
And you can see the crystals in there.
Yeah.
I've got Helveticus in the store now. I'm working on messing with some of my recipes to add extra Helveticus because it's already in my Alpine cheese blend. But I kind of want to kick it up to get the balance between getting the crystals sooner and not wrecking the flavor profile.
It's a tough balance because like I've had cheese that I've tried to age into this point, especially like older Goudas, and I never like this is a Gouda, and I could never get it done that way.
Oh, the glitter in this makes me so happy.
But see, it's almost sweet with it. So like it's usually when you cheese age long, they get almost like pungently salty, even though it's not heavy in salt. So it's the mineral in this is just very sweet. That it comes up with like the crystals.
I'm just gonna be quiet and eat.
Yeah, this with fresh fruit is like all I need. I don't need crackers, just like some sliced apple, a little tart and sweet.
That would pair well with just about anything.
Yeah. It's the king of cheeses, and that's literally what it is when you buy it.
That is gorgeous. Okay, so I've got my shopping list. I would encourage you all to go and visit your local cheesemonger, go to your local deli, go to your local charcuterie place, which is primarily what Birch and Boar is.
Yeah, we make all of our own charcuterie house.
And ask questions. Ask and ye shall receive. So I've been Tracy Johnson from Cheese Needs and Learn to Make Cheese on Facebook. Will, thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
And yeah, I've got a shopping list.